These are the review preview problems on page 145 that go with problem 4.1.2. First problem, 413, asks you to record this as an equation and simplify. I'm going to start by doing some simplifying on the tile mat. So I'm going to go ahead and do some flipping. So I'm going to move all of these up here. So that becomes 2 x's. They're positive, so I have 2 positive x's. And those are gone. I flip all of these up. I have 3 negative x's, so negative 3. These are going to zero out, so they're gone, which leaves me with 3 positive x's. We got to get rid of those. So 3x. And then I have minus 4. That's what's on that side. Here's my equal sign. And then on this side, we'll go ahead and zero those out. So they're gone. We'll flip this one up. Becomes a negative 1. So then I can zero out another group. Those become zeros. So I'm left with x plus 4. So then that is simplified. So that is part A. Let's go ahead and write the answer for that. So 3x minus 4 equals x plus 4. And then the next part was to solve. So let's go ahead and move some things around. So let's go ahead and start by getting rid of this negative 4 by making the opposite, which is positive 4, which I add to both sides to maintain equality. This becomes x plus 8. This is 0. So I have 3x equals x plus 8. We're going to go ahead and move this x. It's a positive x on this side. If I want to flip it to the other side, it's a negative x. Negative x also makes that 0. So now I have 2x equals 8. I divide both sides by 2, and I get x equals 4. Then I want to check my solution. That's part B. All right, part B over here a little bit. So I plug that 4 back into my original equation. So I have 3 times 4 minus 4 equals 4 plus 4. Okay, that one's easy. So that's 8. 3 times 4 is 12 minus 4. 12 minus 4 is 8. Since those are equal, that means that this is true. So there is my solution. The next problem, 414, we're going to simplify each equation and solve for x. So first one is 7 minus 3x equals negative x plus 1. So I need to get my x's on one side and my units on the other. So let's start with units. Let's go ahead and move this 1. So we have minus 1 on both sides. So I have 6 minus 3x equals negative x. So this is minus 3x, so I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to add 3x. So I am left with 0 x's, but still have a 6. A negative 1x and a positive 3x is going to leave me with a 2x. Divide both sides by 2. I get 3 equals x. There we go. Let's go ahead and plug that back in. 7 minus 3 times 3 equals the opposite of 3 plus 1. So that is going to be negative 2. This is going to be 7 minus 3 times 3 is 9. So that is also going to be negative 2. So that means my solution is correct. Second problem is negative 2 plus 3x equals the opposite of everything inside these parentheses, x plus 6. So first thing we need to do is simplify this side. So I'm going to take the opposite of everything that's in here. So instead of a positive x, I now have a negative x. Instead of adding 6, I'm going to subtract 6. So negative 2 plus 3x equals negative x minus 6. So let's start by moving this one over to this side. So we're going to add 2 to both sides. So I'm left with 3x equals negative x minus 4. I'm going to move this to the other side. I have 4x equals negative 4. Divide both sides by 4. I get x equals negative 1. So let's test that. Negative 2 plus 3 times negative 1 equals the opposite of negative 1 plus 6. So that's going to be the opposite of 5. So that's negative 5 on that side. This is going to be negative 2 plus 3 times negative 1 will be negative 3. That's going to be negative 5 equals negative 5. So this is true. All right, moving on to the next problem, 15. We have a student writing a 500-word essay in 1 hour. So let's write down some information. 500 words in 1 hour. She writes an essay in 10 minutes. How many words do you think are in that essay? All right, so first thing we notice is that I have hours and minutes. So I need to change those both to the same unit. So I'm going to change this 60 hour or 1 hour, I'm going to change to 60 minutes. So I'm comparing the same thing. So this is a ratio. I can write 500 words in 60 minutes. How many words can I write in 10 minutes? Okay, so we're going to set this up as a proportion. So we're going to compare 500 to 60, and that's going to be equivalent to x over 10. So we just cross multiply. I get 60x equals 5,000. Divide both sides by 60. And I get x equals, let's go ahead and do that, 5,000. And this says that the question did say approximately. All right, so we are going to say this is going to be 6 into 500. So 6 goes into 58 times. That gives me 48. I'm left with 2. Bring down the 0. 6 goes into 23 times. 3 times 6 is 18. And I'm going to keep getting 2's. So this is 83, and then the decimal will be a repeating 3. So that's like 1/3. So x equals 83 and 1/3. So going back to my question, how many words do you think the essay contains? The essay has about 83 words. All right, the next problem for 16, we're looking for a pattern here. The only ones that I can really look at that are helpful right now are these 3. These I can fill in once I know what the pattern is. So what I'm trying to figure out is how do I get from the input to the output? First thing I notice, it is getting bigger. So I'm going to look at multiplication. Let's start with 3. So I know that 3 times 6 is 18. That gets me pretty close. So if I do 3 times 6, I get 18. That's pretty close to 17. Maybe it's minus 1. If I do 3 times 10, I get 30. That's not minus 1, so that's not going to work. So let's try 2. So if I do 2 times 6, I get 12. And that would have to be then minus 5 to get to 17. If I do 2 times 10, I get 20. I'm sorry, plus 5. I'd have to add 5. Okay, so then I would have to add 5. Okay, so far so good. If I do 2 times 2, I get 4. And 4 plus 5 is 9. Okay, so then if I add 5 to each of these, I get what I'm looking for. 17, 25, and 9. So what I did was I took whatever x is and I multiply it by 2. So 2 times x, and then I add 5. So 2 times 7 is 14, plus 5 would be 19. Let's get a little tricky. 2 times 3 is negative 6. So negative 6 plus 5, that would be negative 1. Let's skip that one for now. Let's do negative 10. This would be negative 20 plus 5, which would be negative 15. And this would be 2,000 plus 5. All right, so now to figure out how I got here, I have to undo what I did. So first thing I'm going to do is subtract 5, which will give me 10. 2 times what is 10? So that would be 5. So I do 2 times 5 is 10, plus 5 is 15. All right, last problem. We've got Susan and 2 sisters. So you have 3 people dividing 3 posters. 216 books and 24 CDs. So we're just going to divide each of those by 3. And that is going to be 1 poster each. And I know 3 times 8 is 24, so 8 CDs each. And we'll need to do 216. We'll need to divide that by 3. So that's 7. 3 times 7 is 21. And then we bring down the 6. 3 times 2, 6. So 72 books each. All done.